live stream of Andromeda 6. The new chapter was released while I was asleep. It was meant to be released yesterday, but that didn't happen. I kept checking. Yeah, Chapter 6 has been released. I have not played it yet, so I'm going into this as blind as the rest of you. I will include a link to the game itself in the description on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I don't know if I wrote down anything, but for those of you who don't know, Andromeda 6 is a sci-fi type story. There we go. I'm just so excited. I forgot what I was going to say. Set in the year 3025, you are a life traveler, and you have found out a lot of shit about yourself. And in Chapter 5, you got to pick your romance. It's a big moment for a lot of people who play this game. Let's turn the music down. It's a little loud. There we go. Now I don't feel like I have to talk over it. So all these people that you see in the splash screen here are potential love interests. I'll just have my mouse up here where I can reach it. Okay, yeah. So this is where we left off. At the very end of Chapter 5, one of your friends was shot. So we ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I wrote a series of fics with my traveler reacting and having a cuddly moment with their love interest. That was my way of dealing with the cliffhanger. So now let's find out what actually happened. Okay, this is not the right one. Hang on. Here we go. This is the one we want. Good thing I checked. Oh, no. We want to load. We do not want to save. There we go. Tony, okay. Come on. Restart. Okay. Restart required. Here we go. Episode 6. I'm so excited. Rex falls backward right as June launches himself forward, just in time to catch him before he hits the ground. I rush forward to help him, reaching back to his side at the same time as Riona, her face firm as she kneels beside me. Well, of course Riona is one of the first people there. She's a medic. Where the hell did that shot come from? I asked Sister nearby, her gun held in her hand as she searches the clearing. My eyes are fixed on Riona, watching her put pressure on Vex's wound, his blood staining the sleeves of her dress. She feels around the wound with her long fingers and Vex winces with the pain. This is a lot of blood. We need to get him to... The second gunshot has us all ducking our heads. I look over to see Bash and June searching for the source, their guns raised. I'm well aware that where we are is too exposed, too close to danger. We need to get back onto the ship before whoever fired that shot decides to stick another bullet in him. I chance to look towards the forest and see movement behind the trees, figures creeping through the undergrowth. Only the silhouettes are visible, their features hidden by the setting sun behind them. Convenient. Can't tell from here if the new arrivals are friends or foes, but the shiver that goes through me as they approach gives me the only answer I need. I thought we were safe. I thought we made it out of the facility unharmed. Now I know how wrong I was. Put your weapons down or I'll finish the job right this second. A voice echoes through the clearing as a group of Tilaari soldiers appear from the tree line, advancing on us with speed. This is Tilaari. The leader steps up, their rifle pointed at Vex as they bark an order at their soldiers. Get them on their knees and search the ship. I watch as they step closer, their icy expression sending a chill down my spine. That is not someone you want to mess with at all. Their eyes focus on Vex. The colors so pale they can't be natural. I shudder as the pupils widen and contract mechanically, assessing the man at their feet. Well, looks like I caught a rat. Vex curses quietly between gasping breaths, wincing in pain. His hand still covers the bullet wound, and though I want to move closer to make sure that he's alright, I'm too afraid to move. Nice to see you too, Ren. Did you really have to shoot me? Ren scoffs at him, and once the soldiers are circling us completely, they lower their weapon. You were supposed to kill the Andromeda Six crew quietly, not blow a chunk out of Orion. Was that what I was supposed to do? You know, I think the doctor scrambled my brain a little much. You'd think I'd remember orders like that. Mark. Without warning, Ren swivels the rifle and smashes the butt of it down into Vex's face with a sickening crack. Oh, that's just not cool. Vex swears out loud as the hand flies to his nose, stemming a fresh flow of blood. Better grab my dice, just in case. As I mentioned, I've not played this before, so I don't know how this is all going to play out, but I guess I'm going to be quiet at this point. Get away from him! The words burst from my mouth before I could stop them. My eyes narrowed into furious slits as I stared down the Cimmerian leader. Shut them up. I feel the unfamiliar bite of a rifle barrel at the back of my neck. Immediately, I clamp my mouth shut. Ren barely spares me a glance, their nose turned up in disgust as they watched Vex square his shoulders against them. Footsteps echo on the ramp to the ship, and Calderon and Damon appear, their hands held above their heads as they were escorted by Cimmerian soldiers. Damn it. The soldiers push them down on their knees beside us, and I scan them quickly, finding them unharmed. Footsteps echo. I think that's a mistake. Ren doesn't acknowledge their presence, still busy with Vex. That second one with Calderon and Aya, that's not supposed to be there because, if I remember correctly, Aya is the one that I romance. So they stayed with me. She stayed with me. Jesus. I always knew you were weak, but Jess insisted you would get the job done. I take no pleasure in being right. That's a surprise, isn't it? Careful, Sarah. My trigger finger is itching to put you down. So do it. What are you waiting for? My breath hitches in my throat at the plant. When will Vex learn to just keep his mouth shut? Right? If Ren shoots him again, he's done for. All in good time. First, I think I'll deal with your new friends. The Andromeda Six crew. Oh, yes, I know all about you. Ren walks the line in front of us, each member of the crew on their knees, glaring up at them spitefully. Their boots are muffled by soft grass. Any small sound they make halted when they come to a stop in front of June. Subject JXV. Thought you were dead. No, but you will be if you lay a finger on any of my friends. Ren smirks, amused by the threat. Glad to see you still have some fight in you. They carry on, the soft thud of their footsteps spraying my nerves with every step they take. I can't say I've seen your record. Okay, so if I don't know who I am, that's a good sign. Stop in front of me, pale blonde hair falling into their faces, their bionic eyes shift and rotate unnaturally. Picked up a new member for your merry band of misfits, have you, Commander? Their faces gather on, the corner of their lips tilting into a cruel smile. We needed a navigator, and so we found one. Now leave them alone. I could see in an instant that this was the wrong thing to say. Ren quirks an eyebrow at the captain before they take the rifle from their back and point it at me. Or what? It's all around the lump in my throat, my palms sweating as I stare down the barrel in front of my nose. Damn it, Carol, take me. I'm the one you've been looking for. Let the rest of them go. So noble. They smile, but there's nothing warm about the gesture. Thankfully, they lower their weapon, and I breathe out a lungful of air in relief. But if you think I'm letting a single one of you go free, you're mistaken. Jeff has plans for your crew, and I'm sure he won't mind if we lose one or two of them before we get to Goldus. As for your fate, public execution will serve best for you, Commander Lynch. You did murder the former head of the Crown Council, after all. That's a lie, and you know it. Ren cocks her head at Aya, studying her in the same manner as a hawk sizing up its prey. The pilot broke Lynch here out of prison, is that it? That's right. She'll put it in the air, determined not to let her anger get the best of her. Still just a nobody. Aya's face falls at the remark, and I'm hit by a savage urge to tear Ren apart for even saying such a thing. Yes, I was hoping there'd be a special reaction. She has to know how much she means to me, how she's pulled me through the darkness and back into the light. If we ever make it out of this, I'll be sure to tell her. Ren continues on, their shoulders sinking with the soft sigh as their gaze falls on Damon. Resner, not surprised to see you switch sides. Damon grins at them, seeming completely unfazed by the situation. Of course he is, it's Damon. I can't tell if it's all just an act or he truly isn't bothered by the danger we're in. If I had to bet, I'd say it's a little of both. Yeah, usually both. I never picked a side to begin with. You know me, Ren. Still a coward, I see. But handy in a sense, am I right? I don't miss the eye roll Ren gives him as they step back and glance over us all one last time. With Ren distracted by the others, I steal a glance at Vex, who looks like he's barely holding on. Catch Damon's eye as he glances towards Vex, seeing a shadow cross his face. Now I see he knows exactly how much trouble we're in. So the question remains, who do I kill first? How about no one? Ren commands our attention, our eyes glued to them as they make a show of thinking it over. When I step up to Riona, I find it hard to believe it's pure coincidence. There's something on their face that gives it away. The kind of satisfaction one has at catching a prized fish in their net. Looks like it's my lucky day. The last Archangel, Riona Mahayden. Something drops from the pit of my stomach, a feeling of dread coming over me. Your old dad has been nothing but a thorn in our side since we liberated the system. I wonder what he'll give to get his little girl back in one piece. Riona glares at them, her hands still covered in Vex's blood as they hang untrembling at her side. You, sweet thing, could be the key to everything. I haven't seen my home in years. You really think I'd be any use to you? There's only one way to find out, isn't there? We'll start with a finger, send it home to your daddy. Then we'll see if he prefers to be reunited with his darling daughter in one piece or several. Oh, I really hate her. The entire crew is seething, pinned down in place by a dozen rifles to keep us from doing anything to help Riona. I wish I was stronger than him, that I could do something to end this instead of watching uselessly from my knees. Ren waves her hand at one of their soldiers. You there, give me your knife and keep her still. This will only take a second. Don't touch her! In an instant, Bash is on his feet, though he barely makes it 3 feet before Riona stops him in his tracks with a shake of her head. Where's Bash as he rushes to her side? What are you going to do about it? I'll rip you apart. Oh, the eye. I see you've had some upgrades since we last met. Little Hajj? Can't remember if that's an L or an I. Probably an L. Too bad. I don't think there'll be enough to get you out of this one. You ready to find out? Ren swings the rifle towards Bash right before he grabs the barrel and sends it sprawling across the grass. A dozen Khmer weapons find their aim on him, and Bash grits his teeth, refusing to back down. You just had to try to be the hero, didn't you? You should have joined us when you had the chance. Never. Drawing the sword from his sheath on their back, Ren points the tip towards Bash. Hold him still. 2 soldiers rush forward and train the rifles on either side of him, forcing him back to his knees. When Ren lowers the sword to Bash's neck, he grits his teeth and growls up at them. You're not a liberator. You're nothing but a murderer. Ren presses his sword against his skin hard enough to draw blood, and I watch in horror as the ruby droplets drip over the edge of the blade. And you're about to die. I hope it was worth it. She is. Right when I think it's over, we've lost fast to the enemy, the trees surrounding us begin to whip and sway beneath the gusts of a dozen descending ships. Ren lowers their sword, leaving Bash forgotten on his knees as they scoop up their rifles and order their soldiers to form a new line of defense. Soldiers descend from the ships to land on the forest floor, and for a moment I think they're coming reinforcements, until I recognize the sigil they wear on their armor. Azure Dawn. Yes! Looks like we showed up just in the nick of time. Not you again. Happy to see me? Come on, you can admit it. I'll be happy to pull up cooler than you. Maybe two. Looks like there's been enough of that going on around here. Zane shoots a look in Vex's direction before turning to the rest of us. Get out of here. We'll deal with these clowns. Ren scoffs and aims her rifle at Zane's head, only to be met by the barrel of his own. Stand off. I love it. I love the art here. They're not going anywhere. Zane barks out aloud. I can't quite decide if he has a death wish or if he's simply half mad. I'm going to go with the second one. My enormous shotgun begs to differ. And make no mistake, I'm talking about the one in my hand. So let's not go getting any crazy ideas. You don't want to see her when she gets mad. I hear Damon mumbling, "Oh, for fuck's sake," in the background, and I would laugh if we weren't all a second away from being shot to hell. Zane gazes at his weapon with an almost loving expression. I named her Elisa, after a friend of mine, and she's twice as pretty and just as lethal as the real thing. Oh. While Zane keeps Ren and their soldiers locked in standoff, the rest of us get ready to make a move. I hurry over to Aya, taking her in my arms and squeezing her tight. Okay, we're okay. Let's get out of here. She takes me by the hand and we hurry towards the ship alongside Damon and June, who have Vex hoisted up between them. His face is pale, his eyes so heavy-lidded he looks to be on the verge of passing out. The first shot goes off right as we reach the ramp to the docks, and we pick up speed to get onto the safety of the ship. Oh yeah, I would too. June, I need you on guns to cover our escape. Calvarn barks orders while he hits a button to pull up the ramp to secure the ship. Bash, where are you? Ah, there you are. I need you assisting on weapons. June and Bash dash off together while I do my best to help Damon get Vex to the stairs. You three take Vex to the infirmary. Aya, you're with me. We split up, Damon, Rona, and I hauling Vex to the infirmary while the others head towards the bridge. The metal walls of the ship muffle the sounds from outside, but as we pass by the window, I see the fight is in full force. Azure Dawn clashed against Chimera, giving us the opportunity we need to make our escape. I wasn't sure what to think of Zane when I first met, but now I can't be more grateful for his presence. Duh! I can only hope he makes it out of there in one piece. By the time we make it to the infirmary, Vex is slipping in and out of consciousness, his body becoming dead weight in our arms. Vex, can you hear me? Try to stay awake. He struggles across the room as the ship lurches and rumbles, hastily taking off from the surface of the planet. Eventually, the three of us manage to haul Vex up onto the medical chair right as he passes out completely. Shit! Rihanna swears beneath her breath, and I raise an eyebrow at her. The situation has the Tilaari cursing, then things must be bad. Oh yeah. Okay, we're gonna roll a dice. I have a D4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Is there anything else I can help with? Can I help with anything else? We need to clean the wound. Will you fetch some bandages and antiseptic from the cupboard there? Do as she asks, glad to make myself useful, even if in some small way. When I open the cupboard, I find the products I need are clearly labeled, and I grab a couple of other things that seem like they could be useful. I return to the two of them to find Damon's face is hard and his expression pissed, a far cry from the mask he wore earlier. Yeah, I did play the Apollo's Tea House one. So yeah, we know that Damon knows Vex, that they have a history, so I can imagine that even if they do piss each other off, he still doesn't like the idea of losing some acquaintance. Vex gets him in some ways. Ren wanted to cry bad. You could see it on their face. Brianna scoffs at him, looking far from thrilled at the topic of conversation. That's what happens when you have a family in politics, so we probably got time to worry about that now. No, I think it's exactly what we need to be worried about. Brianna stops and pins Damon with a firm look, but I don't miss the edge of softness she gives him. I'm fine. I'm not the one bleeding out in the chair right now. Let's focus, dear. So, can we focus, please? The ship rumbles beneath us, and I grab onto the chair for support as it lurches to the side. Friends, we're being followed, and by the sound of things, shut up. Worry show on my face because Rihanna gives me a small smile. Don't worry, Tony. June knows what he's doing. He'll keep us safe. And I'll bet Aya's having the time of her life. As long as Cal leaves her to the controls, we'll be out of there in no time. Something in me knows that's true, but it doesn't stop me from worrying about her. Of course. I wish I was with her right now, but we have more pressing matters to attend to here. Rihanna grabs a tray with various tools while instructing us to remove Vex's jacket. Taking a side each, Damon and I carefully pull the garment off his shoulders and down his arms before Rihanna moves in to push up his shirt and expose the wound. I watch as she cleans the blood away to expose the bullet hole beneath. The injury doesn't look as bad as I expected, but it makes me wince nonetheless. Using her medical wand, she sweeps it over the area, reading the Tilaari symbols that appear on the side of the device. The good news is that the bullet went straight through him, so the wound is clean. There's no major damage to internal organs, but he's lost a lot of blood. He'll need a transfusion to keep him going. The worry must show on my face because Rihanna takes a moment to give me a comforting smile. He'll be okay, Tony. We'll have him fixed up in no time. Taking a small sample of Vex's blood, she turns to a small machine on the counter and runs a vial of crimson liquid through it. The device processes the sample, lights blinking from red to green as it displays its findings on the screen. Rihanna frowns as she analyzes the data. What's wrong? There's only one other person on the ship who's compatible. Who? Calderon. Oof. But Vex is half Kitalphan. How does that work? Because he's half Kitalphan and human that he can receive blood from either species with a compatible blood type. But we'll need to start the transfusion now or it won't last much longer. We don't have any synthetics. We haven't had a chance to replenish our stocks since Goldus. Brianna grabs a small device off the wall and holds down a button before speaking. Captain, I need you in the infirmary. We've got an emergency on our hands. I'm a little busy right now, Doc. Holy shit, did you see that? Ayame, you're about to give me a heart attack for fuck's sake. There's a crash and some swearing before the line goes dead. Brianna lets out a heavy breath before she turns to me. Tony, will you fetch him for me? Yeah, no question. On my way. Alright, I'm going, but if I don't make it back alive, you'll only have yourself to blame. I'm sure I can live with that. Stop that. Brianna swats at his shoulder with a hand, which only makes him chuckle out loud. Your captain's more bark than bite. Don't let him intimidate you. Yes, ma'am. And don't call me ma'am. With a gulp, I hurry out of the infirmary before Rihanna has a chance to inflict any real damage. When I reached the bridge, I met with the sound of voices, one of which sounds unfamiliar to me, until I realized I know exactly who it is. I'm sure you'll find a way to repay us one day, Blondie. We did save your asses, after all. If I remember correctly, Zane was the one who showed up. I didn't see you saving anything. Who do you think gives the orders? You're not the only one wearing the big boots around here. I love her. Let's cool our jets, shall we? Amy slides in between Kylan and Lisa's hologram, her arms raised in surrender. I think we are all more than grateful that you saved our butts back there, Lisa, the captain included. How's the situation back in Cursa? I'm not on Cursa, which brings me to the actual point of this call. You mean to tell me this isn't a social call? Oh, look at you, you made a joke. Cal sneers at her. It's clear that these two really aren't fond of each other. After you left, we managed to push the Chimera back to secure our district. It wasn't long before we were contacted by someone I could safely say we never expected to receive a call from. Who was it? Eldridge Hayden, head of the Council of Eons on Tilaari. Were you his father? I knew he was on the council, but the head is supposed to be the late Queen's mother. Yeah, since there's been a shift of power in recent years. Oh, if you're Tilaari, then your grandmother was the head of the council. Oh boy. What did he want? Well, you're a stowaway, most of all, who request your presence here on Tilaari. You're on Tilaari too? What does Eldridge want with us? Questions. Learn to go with the flow for once, won't you, Blondie? Just tell me who. A loud beep interrupts the captain, followed by a bewildered-looking Archnote appearing next to Elisa. Oh, hello, ambulance crew. It's actually very appropriate at the moment. Echo, if I have to tell you one more time to stop listening to my calls, then someone is losing a tail. Again. Echo is so sorry. Upper was trying to call home to make sure their bar is still in when I told you it's in good hands one day. I swear I'm gonna get your asses to Tilaari and we'll be waiting. Oh boy. There's another beep and the holograms disappear. Both Elisa and Otto are on Tilaari? It appears so. Something weird is going on. I can feel it in my gills. I should probably make my presence known. I step onto the bridge and let my footsteps echo over the metal floor. Both Calderon and Aya turn at once, their gazes fixed on me. How long have you been standing there? We're not gonna lie. The whole time. Like, pretty much the whole time. Calderon sighs, though face softened somewhat. At least you're honest. So, Elisa didn't look too happy. I'm starting to think that's her default setting, like another person I know around here. She's happy we got the bomb set up, at least. The facility we blew to hell is beyond repair. Which brings an end to the creepy little experiments. And Zane? He's okay. The dog managed to fight off the Canary soon after he took off, had them running away with their tails between their legs. They're in the process of picking up the freed prisoners and moving them to Tilaari. Tilaari? I don't understand. They don't allow outsiders on their planet. Seems like things are changing everywhere. And I'm in silent agreement, thinking back on everything we've accomplished today, on everything we've been through. Who was that back on Orion? Ren? Stovak's right hand, the one who goes out and executes all his dirty work. A lump settles in my throat, and I swallow around it as I ask my next question. Do you think they were there that night, the night my family was killed? Yes, I'd say they were. I'm sorry, Tony. Tony stretches between us before Calderon sides and rubs the back of his neck with a hand. How's the redhead doing? Out of breath, thankful for the change of subject, also dreading what's coming next. Well, that's why I'm here. He needs a blood transfusion. There's only one person on the ship who matches his blood type. No. You are not sticking a needle in me. No way. Aya backs away with her arms held in front of her, and I would chuckle at her reaction if I didn't have to deliver the next line instead. Actually, it's Calderon. What? No way in hell am I giving my blood to that traitor. Oh boy. Which one? Okay, we're gonna roll a dice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 again. I would say that this is rigged, but I've been messing with it in my hand, so it's entirely possible that's just how it turned out. I understand. I probably wouldn't do it either if I was in your shoes. You don't have any reason to help him. That's bullshit. I'm sorry, Tony, but we helped you when we didn't even know you. How is this any different? Are you forgetting what the bastard did? He tried to hunt us down and kill us all. Against his will? Calderon falls silent, and I can tell by the tightness of his jaw that he knows Aya is right. He takes in a deep breath, and I know he's given in when his shoulders sink and pinches the bridge of his nose between his fingers. Fine, I'm going. Aya, you know the plan. Get us where we need to go. Yes, Captain. Calderon disappears from the bridge, and I turn to Aya right as she rounds the ship's seat and slips into it. Now that that's taken care of, let's get down to business. Look alive, Navigator. You're with me. How can I help? I need you to chart a course to the nearest space station. We won't make it to Tilaari without refueling first. Are we still being followed? The Chimera ships fell back before we hit the edge of Orion's atmosphere. Their crafts are speedy, but they're small, hardly built for an interplanetary chase. Take a seat in the navigation station and pull up the screen, using what I've been learning to bring up the information on the space stations between us and Tilaari. It says the closest station is called Chrono. Naomi's words beneath her breath, and I can see the information is less than welcome. Sure sounds like it. Is there anything else? Step across the screen, filtering through the names and distances of various way stations. There's another called the Uba terminal, though we'd be going out of our way to reach it. We can't go there, not unless we want to be cuffed on arrival. Takes a few seconds to think our options through, her fingers twirling through the ends of her hair. People who run Chrono are shifty, and they charge too much for, well, everything. We'll be able to get in and out without a hitch once we keep our heads down. No direct course, and we'll get this baby some much-needed TLC. Yes, ma'am. Tap a few controls on the screen, fumbling only once before the course is set, and the information is beamed across the pilot's head. I can't believe we're going to Tilaari. I've always wanted to see it. Brianna has told me so much about it. It sounds amazing. I just wish that she trails off a sad and wistful expression coming over her. What do you wish? She says before turning back to the controls. I can't see her face, but I'd never mistake the pain I hear in her voice. Nothing. Anna shakes her head, and when she looks at me again, her smile has returned. But there's something about it that doesn't seem quite right. You should get some rest. It's been a long day. I'll let you know when we're getting closer to Chrono. You sure you don't want me to stay for a bit? Keep you company? She shakes her head, and this time when she smiles, I believe it's the real deal. You know, I'll be okay. I keep my eyes peeled for any canary ships, so no distractions. Even if you are the best kind. I chuckle at her flirting as I reach out to squeeze her hand affectionately. Alright, if you insist. Turn to go, but before I reach the door, I calls out to me again. Hey, Tony? Yeah? You're doing a great job, Navigator. I smile at her warmly. Thanks, Aya. I'm reluctant to leave her. There's something about her demeanor that's telling me she's not okay, but for now at least, it seems she wants to be left alone. Heading out into the corridor, I let myself drift away with my thoughts as I make my way to my room. Making my way! So much has happened over the past 24 hours that I can hardly believe I have a moment to breathe at all. Think of Ayame back there on the bridge and the pain on her face that breaks my heart even now. I wish she would let me in. Somehow, I'll find a way to get through to her. I'm beginning to realize that the world is a dangerous place, much more so than I had imagined, and I'm still learning the rules of the game. The steps up ahead drag me from my thoughts, and I look up to see a familiar face heading towards me. June. Stops in front of me, his shoulders packed with hesitation as his mouth softly parts. Tony, I've been looking for you. Oh? I just wanted to say, I'm so sorry that you had to see all that back at the facility. I knew he was going to apologize for it. I knew it. It's not something I wanted any of you to witness. Okay, I'm probably never going to pick this last one. So one of these two. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I actually got something else. You scared me. It was a lot. Pretty terrifying, actually. You really scared me, June. I know, and again, I'm sorry. I wish I had done more to control myself. My emotions got the better of me. All that anger, I've been bottling it up for a long time. He takes in a deep, wavering breath. His hands fall into fists at his sides. All those people in this facility, their experiments, you destroyed them so easily, like they were nothing. He drops his head, and I can see that it feels my horror in some deep, hollow place inside himself. I'm not sorry for ending their lives. You have to understand, Tony. If I had let them live, they would have killed hundreds, thousands, perhaps. But the bombs would have killed them. You could have left them to the explosions. Wouldn't that have been better than killing them with your own hands? I could see by the expression on his face that he's already thought this through, already grappled with the weight of his actions. It's likely they would have survived the explosions, and I couldn't take the risk. Their bodies were infused with orionite, same as mine, but they're not like me, Tony. How do you know that? They might have been suffering, just like you. They were suffering, I've no doubt about that, but that's where the similarities end. June takes in a breath to calm himself. I can see that he knows much more about the situation than I do. Perhaps I shouldn't be so quick to judge. You think? The transformation began before I was born, and there was no one else who took to the substance like I did, not even my brother. The doctors, my parents, tried to recreate it over and over and failed every time. I don't even know why I was the only one who survived it, and trust me when I say I've tried to find the answer. Yeah, I can imagine. Those things in the facility used to be Canary soldiers, but from the moment they were poisoned with orionite, they became something else, something more dangerous than any of us. And the worst part is that they chose to do it, convinced that they would become some sort of superhero, maybe. He lets out a small scoff and shakes his head, as though perplexed why anyone would willingly put themselves through that. I suppose I'm wondering the same thing. Before I joined the crew, I was lost. I tried to find others like me, convinced that if there was someone outside there who was moving on, who was living a life of their own, that maybe I had a chance. But there was no one, not a single soul. Every single subject that had been infused with Orionite past birth was dead. The older they were when the procedure was done, the more twisted they became, and the quicker it killed them. Killing those soldiers on Orion makes me a monster, I know that much, but I'd do it again. If it was me back there, in their place. June falters, his emotions getting the better of him. I wish someone would kill me too. Oh, June, sweetheart. I love him so much. I love them all. Okay, here we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. I'm still a little shaken up. I'm still in shock, I think. When it comes down to it, your actions are your own. It's not up to me to tell you otherwise. If you say that this was the best outcome, then I believe you. June lets out a sigh, his relief obvious. I'm glad to hear it. Destroying that place has lifted a weight on me, knowing that those experiments will never be replicated, that Zilbek will never unleash those monsters on the world. It feels good. Really good. Sighs drift away from me, his voice going quiet when he speaks next. Nobody will ever have to go through that again. That's the last thing I ever do in this world. It was worth it. I'm glad that this has brought you peace. You deserve to move on with your life. We share a smile, and it occurs to me how nice it is to see June relieving himself of his burdens. His gaze shifts to the window and to the vast expanse of space beyond the glass. I finally feel like I can look towards the future. I've been stuck in my nightmare of a past for far too long. It would be nice to focus on something else for once. I step up beside him, studying the void that stretches on and on between us and our next destination, and I think of my own future. That does sound nice. I feel it when June looks towards him, feel the hesitation that hangs between us before he speaks again. June rubs the back of his neck sheepishly. Anyway, I'd better head off and find the captain. One of the guns jammed when we were shooting at the Canary. We'll need to fix it as soon as we can. We're heading to a space station called Chrono. Can it be fixed there? Yes, that will be perfect. We'll have to look around for a couple small parts, but Bash will see it done. We say our goodbyes, and as I carry on down the corridor, I hear June speaking into his communicator, using the device to locate Calderon. As I thought of the captain, I wonder how the blood transfusion had gone with his sex. If the look of thunder on his face may have left the bridge with any indication, Riona would have had her work cut out for her. I'm desperate for rest, but I decide to check in on them all once more before I do. When I step into the infirmary for the second time this evening, the chaos from earlier has dissipated. The room is quiet, the lights dim, Riona's minister is quietly running in the background, the scent of lavender and verbena hanging in the air. I spy Damon leaning back in Riona's chair with his feet twisting up on the desk in front of him. I shake my head, attempting to hold back a grin. Don't let Riona catch you like that. He snorts at my teasing and turns, letting the chair fall forward as he sits up straight, his feet thumping on the floor. Never. I can hear the click of her boots from a mile away, so unless someone decides to go and be a tattletale, I'd say I'm safe. Where is she, anyway? Damon pushes himself to his feet, stepping towards me with a smirk dancing on his lips. You'll have to take a break. I know I'm not exactly a medical professional, but if you need a full-body examination, then I won't be asking you for one. You say so. Now when you've got a pretty little pilot wrapped around your finger, huh? Of course you noticed. I raise an eyebrow at him. I can't forget the things he said to me at the Ark, the flirtations that have gone on between us, and I doubt that neither can he. Are you jealous? Maybe. But you won't catch me shedding net and tears over it. Of course not. Damon throws tightly, determined to change the subject, and to remember why I actually came here. How did the blood transfusion go? Is Vex doing okay? Damon starts again, as though I somehow said something mildly funny. It went well enough, considering Calcabrex was still for long enough to have his blood drawn. As soon as it was done, he tore out of there, muttering about Tilaari amongst other things. Lucky Riona's a gem. She patched Carrot Head up better than he deserves, I'd say. He looks towards the bed, shaking his head in either amusement or disappointment. I can't quite tell. He's resting now. He'll be fine. Follow Damon's gaze and feel my shoulders sag with relief. I want to see him, but before I step towards the curtain, something makes me pause, and I turn to Damon once more. Calvin told you we're heading to Tilaari? Yeah, it sounds like Lisa's up to something. My host perked up. If anyone knows why Lisa might be on Tilaari, it's Damon. What do you think it is? Who knows? Outsiders haven't been welcome on Tilaari for decades, so whatever it is, it's something big. Why else would they let a dope like Zane on the planet? I don't ask anymore. I know it's not his fault, but I'm disappointed to learn that Damon knows just as well as I do. I'm impatient to get to Tilaari to find out what exactly is going on, but I know that there are other things we have to take care of first. Before you do anything else, come over here. Damon instructs before he heads over to the overhead cupboard to start pulling out some supplies. Follow him tentatively, watching him set down a bottle of blue fluid and a wad of cotton balls. What are you doing? You've got a cut on your head. My hand flies to my forehead. I hadn't even realized it was there. It doesn't hurt at all. Don't touch it. It needs to be clean to prevent infection. Drop my hand, letting Damon step forward and press one of the moistened cotton balls to my head, dabbing it over the wound. Oh gosh, I see the potential for the romance options. Of course, once I finish this, I'm simply going to go and play the rest of these. It stings a little when it hits the cut, but I try to stay still while he works. I didn't know Riona was training an assistant. When you work in my profession, you need to know the basics. Damon turns back to find a small bandage, using it to cover the cut. After smoothing it down over my skin, he stands back and admires his work. Well done. Take this too, for the bruises. Grabs a small tube from the counter and holds it towards me. I don't think I have. You will in the morning. Trust me. Taking the tube of ointment, I pocket it for later, giving him a small smile. Thanks. Don't mention it. Heading over to Riona's desk, I pick up a small mirror, using it to inspect the so-called gash. The bandage has covered the wound completely, so it can't have been too bad. In any case, I'm glad that Damon thought to take care of it so I wouldn't get any worse. You want a minute alone with him? Damon's voice brings me back to the current situation. I assume he's talking about sex, and I look towards the bed instinctively. With this confession back on Rand, Beckley was the one who shot Marissa. It's difficult to come to terms with. I admit that I may have been putting this off longer than I should. Okay. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. I need more time. No, I just couldn't make sure everything was alright in here. Coming back was too much. He told me a bit about what happened. I'm sorry about your sister. Thanks, it was definitely a shock to hear all that from Beck. He makes an affirmatory sound, his eyebrows suddenly knitting together. Look, it's up to you how you go forward from here. You should know, the guy's in hell. I've never seen him so low. I look towards the bed, my mind spinning. I know that it wasn't Vector's fault what happened. Not truly. But I still have a lot of my own emotions to work through before I can decide to let him in again. I know. With a sigh, I turn myself away and head for the exit. Right now, I need sleep. Everything else can wait. I think I'm going to follow Riona's lead and get some rest. See you around, Highness. I forgot that I picked up and paid them. Step into my room with a sigh, relieved to have a moment where I could finally be on my own. Today has drained me in more ways than one, and I feel if I don't get into bed soon, I'll collapse where I stand. It doesn't take long for me to change into some comfortable clothes, slip into bed, and fall asleep. I wake a little while later, and while I feel as though I've only just fallen asleep, by the aches and pains in my body, I can tell it's been a few hours at least. With a low groan, I sit up and stretch my arms above my head, attempting to stretch out my muscles. I feel stiff and sore all over. I immediately see that Damon was right when I find a bruise on my arm, then another on my shoulder. No doubt, the after effects of having almost fallen to my death in a pit. I shudder to even think what could have happened if I hadn't been there to save me. I sit my hollow pad to check the time while I rub some of the ointment Damon had given me over my bruises. It's too early to be awake, but my body feels rested and my mind won't let me sleep. I hear that. Wake up early in the morning and it's too damn early to be up, but my brain just won't shut up. So it's the last thing I feel like doing. I think my body could benefit from a bit of training to help warm it up and get it going again. Even some light stretching could do a world of wonders. And after that, a long hot hour. Worrying that, however, I need to do something about this rumbling stomach. Yep. After heading to the kitchen for some much-needed breakfast and about a gallon of water, I head to the dock to see if I can't get my body functioning on at least a normal level again. I haven't seen any of the crew awake, though. That's hardly surprising given what time it is. That, and I think that all of us need a well-deserved night of rest. Heading down the stairs to the docks, the faint sound of grunts and groans pierced up to me, and just when I thought I was the only one up early, when I hit the bottom step, I saw Ayane in the distance, a bunch of training pads scattered on the ground around her. She's dressed casually and has a couple of holographic characters set up to practice us, fighting two at a time. She's an impressive fighter, and so if we were ever matched together in a fight, she'd completely obliterate me. I watched as she expertly dodged the punch from one target, using her agility to get under its arms and take it down with ease. The other one attacked from behind, and for a moment, it seems like Aya has lost his game. Excuse me. It takes only a second for the tide to turn. I reaches behind her and grabs the target behind the head, looking down and using her weight to propel it to the ground, where she finishes it with the final blow. With a triumphant bark of laughter, she stands, straightens her back, shaking out her hands and breathing hard. The target is now severely beaten, disappear, and the program ends. That was awesome! At the sound of my voice, I turns abruptly, her eyes wide, and her face raised to defense. Knowing me, I'm not sure I stand a better chance against you than they did. Oh, I didn't hear you come in. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. That's alright, I was lost in my own head. I saw it only for a second, but the same sadness that seemed to be haunting Aya last night passes over her face. In the blink of an eye, it's gone again, replaced by her usual easygoing smile. So, did you get some rest? She changes the subject, and though I want to talk to her more about what's bothering her, I don't want to push it. Yeah, I fell asleep pretty early. You were right, I definitely needed it. So I miss spending time with you. She blushes faintly, puts her fingers together as she looks at me. It was like that, but I just need some time on my own to recharge. Yeah, I understand. Smiles a little, there's something about it seems weak, but she forced herself to put on a grave face. How did you sleep? Not well. She brings her hands together, and I start to suspect that it's a sign that she's troubled by something. I couldn't turn my mind off. I kept thinking about Ryan, everything that happened there. Everything that could have happened. She begins to pace, her lower lip trembling as she speaks. June was struggling, and I couldn't do anything to help him. He's my friend. I should have done something. And then Bash and Rihanna could have lost them both. I stepped forward to take her hands in mine, feeling her trembling like a leaf on the wind. Even now, she seemed hesitant to open up to me. Let herself be comforted. If it makes you feel any better, I talked with June last night. He's doing good. I think he really needed that outburst to work through a few things. Really? That makes me feel a bit better. Though it's hard to get past these feelings. She turns away from me, her shoulders slumped and her head bowed. A hand flies to her mouth as a sob escapes her, and her face crumples. Aya! Aya, what's wrong? I'm sorry, it's nothing really. No, it's not. She squeaks the words out shakily, but her small hiccuping sobs rubbing at her eyes to hide the tears. Nope, we're gonna hug. It's nothing. Okay. Let me practice. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. Doesn't seem like nothing. I don't think that's true, Aya. If you're this upset, then there has to be a reason. I don't really want to talk about it. She brushes away the tears with the back of her hand, sniffling quietly. You'll think it's stupid. My chest squeezes as she turns away again. She seems so small, so lost, and I'm not sure what to do to stop that. I won't think it's stupid, I promise. I've tried to assure her, hoping that having even one person to listen will make a change. After all that Aya has done for me, all the support she's given me, is the least I can do. She hesitates for a few moments, but when she finally speaks, I know I'm finally getting her to open up. Many years ago, my parents sacrificed everything to keep me safe, and I'm grateful to them for the life I have, but I shouldn't even be here. My brother Akira was the one who wanted to join the Guard. He wanted to travel the system and other systems too. She closes her eyes, her lashes fluttering as she pulls up memories of the past. All I wanted was for us to have a home, somewhere we could be safe. I joined the guard as a way to provide for us, and now he's gone. The tears fell thick down her cheeks, and this time she doesn't stop them. We're going to Tilaari, the one place he always wanted to see. Realization hits me, and now I know that what I had wished last night. She wished that a clearer could be with her when she saw Tilaari for the first time. I was thinking that too, that she wished her brother could be there. That the two of them could experience a new planet together. Oh boy. Okay. Gotta get my D6 out. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Three. I don't want to stay quiet. Okay, so we're skipping that last one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. You have a home. You have a home, Aya. People that will keep you safe, right here on this ship. You know that nobody can replace your family, but you're not alone. You're right, Tony. Nobody can replace my family. Try to speak up. Sorry, that's not what I meant. I'm so stunned that my mouth won't make a sound. I'm sorry, Tony. I think I just need to be alone right now. I watch as she has her arms around herself, making herself seem smaller than she already is. I've already lost so much. Everyone that ever mattered to me is gone. They're never coming back, and I just don't lose anyone else. I can't let that happen. Oh no, you're not pushing us away. Nope. She rolls the ends of her hair around her finger, her face so deeply in sadness. Yeah, I can talk freely, but it hurts me to witness. Grandma's right. I am nobody. Ain't nobody. When my friends are in danger, I can't do shit to help them. Don't say that, Aya. Ren doesn't know anything. It was you who saved Cal from that prison on Golden. None of us would be here if it wasn't for you. You're the heart of this crew. She gives me a weak smile, but this time I know it's far from genuine. I wish I could believe you. With a sigh, she turns away from me, heading back over to the training mats and the device she uses for the holographic targets. Don't worry about me, Tony. I'll get over it eventually. I try to say more, but I initiate the training device and launch it straight into another program. I have a feeling no matter which option you picked, she would do this. I'd initially come down here to train, but I don't want to be a bother, especially when Aya is feeling so down. Heading back to the stairs, I turn one last time before leaving. Aya is standing in the middle of the training mats, her head bowed and the training program around her forgotten. I want so much to go to her, tell her that everything will be okay. But I feel as though she'll only end up shrugging me off again. I want to tell her that she doesn't have to be happy all the time. It's okay to feel sad about things. That doesn't make her any less worthy. Instead, I drag myself up the stairs, feeling hopeless. It's not like I had to shut me out like that. I'm worried about what it could mean. Oh boy. Okay, I need a moment. Back to me. It's fine until the CG art. I hope you get through to her. We better get through to her. Earlier on the run, before everything had happened with the Chimera, she had been radiant, brighter than the sun itself. Now I see none of that, only the watery depths of melancholy she's slowly slipping into. With my training plans thoroughly tossed out the window, I head back to my room for that long shower I had promised myself. Another day passes as we make our way towards Chrono, finally docking on the space station and going over some ground rules for our visit. I learned that Chrono is a wayward station run by ex-mercenaries. It's a seedy place, to say the least, but that also means that the chance of us running into any Chimera are slim. As long as we keep our heads down and blend in with the crowd, we'll be able to get what we need and be on our way. Didn't we try that once before and it didn't go so well? I had managed to go out onto the station and pick up some new clothes and a few personal items, so the options were somewhat limited and as expensive as Aya warned me. Still, I found a couple of things that were more my style, and now I'm starting to both feel and look as the navigator of this ship. Oh, that's cute. I don't think I've seen that before. While the rest of the crew is still out doing their own thing, I took some time to rest up in my room. My body is still a little worse for wear after our encounter on Orion, and I figured that taking it easy can't be a bad idea. As I'm lounging on my bed, playing a little game on my holopad, there's a knock on the door. I push myself up from the bed, and when I head over to open it, I find Aya standing on the other side. Twisting her fingers together, she gives me a soft smile. Hi, do you have a minute to talk? For you, I have more than just one. Happy to hear it. With a smile, I invite Aya into the room, behind the door shut behind her. She strolls right on in, looking around the small space and letting out a surprised sound. Wow, it's looking great in here. You think so? Yeah, I'm digging the ambiance. I smile to myself, quietly watching as she does a circle of the room, checking out the little bits and bobs I've acquired recently. Hey, who's this little guy? She placed a large rock sitting on the desk. It has moss covering the top of it, which makes it look like it has hair, and a pretty face drawn on one side. Right there. There it is. Oh, that's Bob Moss. I managed to snack him up before we left Orion. I wonder if that's a reference to Bob Ross, the painter. Ayame giggles and touches the springy moss on the rock's head. I love him. She does another rotation of the room before she pops herself down on my bed, leaning back and crossing one leg over the other. Everyone is still messing around out on the station, so I thought maybe we could spend some time together. I'm glad you stopped by. I've been wanting to talk to you since the other day after the conversation we had. Oh, that. She dismisses the thought with a wave of her hand, a fragile smile slipping into place. Oh, there's nothing. I'd rather not talk about all that, if you don't mind. I frown inwardly. It didn't seem like nothing to me, and even now I see the cracks beneath Ayame's facade. So if she's already to talk about it, I'm not going to force her. I was hoping we could just chill out for a while, you know? And besides, it occurred to me that I never checked in on you after everything that happened on Orion. I feel terrible for not making sure you were okay after what we went through. I take a seat beside her on the bed, the mattress squeaking beneath my weight. It's okay. It seems like you were working through some things yourself. I don't blame you. She looks away for a moment, her dark hair falling into her eyes before she pushes it away again. In any case, I'm here now. So how have you been feeling since Orion? Okay, this one, we're definitely going to pick one of three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4. Actually, my hand was on the way. Let's try that again. 3. Let's take on all the Chimerae. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to take on every left Chimerae. I never knew that fighting them could feel so good. I never expected you to think like that. I'm a bit shocked. After everything they've done to me, to all of us, I can't wait to take them out. When you put it that way, I suppose I understand. I'm sorry, this conversation is a bit of a downer, but I'm glad to see you're doing okay. I really did want to come here to chill out with you, so no more talk about all that, okay? Okay, deal. My hand finds hers, our fingers joined together as we sit side by side on my bed. It's good to see you, especially after everything that's happened. We've really been able to spend any time together. Sorry, that's my fault. I had to pilot us through Merc territory. Not as far as it sounds. Trust me. I nod. I know she's had her duties around the ship to tend to, but it's only made me miss her more. At least now we have a chance to spend some time together. So I was thinking, apart from knowing that you're royalty, I don't know much else about you. I mean, I know that you're from Gold the same as me, but I imagine that our lives was so much different there. You mean you didn't have your own personal tailor, or access to the royal jewels? She lets out a surprising bark of laughter. No way, you actually had someone who would make all your clothes for you? Yep, anything I wanted. Hats, shoes, coats. I would have loved that. I adore fashion, but going out somewhere and having the same outfit as someone else? Blah. She shows her distaste by wrinkling her nose adorably, and I can't help the fact I'm drawn closer to her. My stomach doing little somersaults when she smiles at me. What else did you do at the palace? Tell me everything. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 0, 10. I was always looking for an adventure. I was always up for an adventure. I would have liked to join the Guard. I was trying to get my parents to agree, but, well, it's a little late now. But I felt like I always had to be doing something or going somewhere. I find it hard to sit still sometimes. What kind of adventures did you have? I think for a moment, feeling a little silly all of a sudden. I'm sure I've never done anything that could hold the candle to your adventures, but I love playing pranks on people, especially my annoying siblings. And sneaking into the city with Bex was my favorite thing to do. Sounds like we're going to get along swimmingly. I smile at her. She seems to really enjoy hearing about my life. I feel that it's been good for me to talk about. Or my former life, anyway. Can I ask you something else? Her hand tightens around mine, and as she faces me, I'm drawn closer to her, pulled in by her charm and beauty. Of course. What was it like, living in a palace? I've always wondered. I think about it for a moment. My life in Goldus wasn't exactly the best, but unlike many others in Celiota, it wasn't the worst either. It was comfortable, I suppose. I never went hungry or anything like that. When I was younger, I had lessons I was made to attend, but after that, I was both allowed and expected to keep to myself. I swallow quickly as I think back on my life, how far away it seems now, despite being only weeks ago. One, two, three, 4. 1. It was pretty lonely. I was on my own a lot. It was pretty lonely. You didn't spend time with your siblings? Half of them were busy with their own lives, and the other half were insufferable bullies. All I really had was Marissa, until Vex came along. I places a hand on my arm, her delicate fingers and painted nails sending tingles right through me. I'll make sure you're never lonely again, if you let me. I think at this stage I'd let you do anything you want. She ducks her head so her hair covers her face, but I don't miss the hint of a smile that peeks through. There is actually one thing I want to talk to you about. What is it? She hesitates a little, her cheeks darkening as they flush with color. When we kissed back on Orion, I was surprised. I wasn't sure that you liked me in that way. How could I not? Look at you. You're gorgeous, smart, and funny. Do you really mean that? Absolutely. If anything, it's me who should be wondering why someone like you would even give me the time of day. She squeezes my hand tight, her skin warm against my palm. I know that sometimes I can come off as just a silly flirt. I really do care about you, Tony. I reach up ahead to brush away the hair that's fallen into her face once again. I find myself falling into those warm violet eyes. I care about you too, Aya. And, of course, we're gonna kiss. Warmth blossoms in my chest and sparks igniting as I lean in close. Our lips brushing together like satin and silk. The scent of her heightens my sentences, something floral and feminine that has me breathing her in, kissing her deep. My hand moves to cradle the side of her face, fingers slipping into her hair and gliding through the soft strands. She leans into the kiss and makes a small sound of contentment, one that has me smiling against her lips, so soft and warm. There's no hesitance between us, not now that I know that she feels the same way as I do, that she wants to be near me. I'm really glad I met you, Tony. I'm glad I met you, too. We kiss again, and I breathe all of her in, her scent, her taste, the warmth of her legs as they tangle through mine. Naomi and I spend the rest of the evening together, chatting, kissing, and learning what it feels like to be in each other's company. While I can't deny that there's some part of me that's scared at the prospect of a relationship like this, there's a bigger part of me, one that's so blissfully happy, that trumps all others. The next day I find myself going back to reality, and when reality comes calling, duty swiftly follows. At least you got time with her. Hang on. Okay. I had to take care of something. After refueling the ship and departing from Kronos, we set a course towards Tilaari. The passage between the space station and Tilaari gives us no trouble, and the Tilaari patrol in the outer sectors of the planet leave us to pass in peace. As we approach, I feel a sense of anticipation building within me. We're almost there. Everyone get to the bridge and buckle up. We're heading into orbit. I hear the excitement in Aya's voice and chuckle to myself. I can't blame her for the enthusiasm. Unlike her visits to cruise under Ryan, where tension drips from us as thick as honey, this feels different somehow. There are still a lot of questions to be answered, but the one thing we do know is that our friends are already here, so we're not about to launch ourselves headfirst into trouble. I mean, with Orion, that's exactly what we were doing from the get-go. Following Aya's instructions, I head to the bridge and take my seat at the navigation station, peering out the front window towards the massive blue and green in front of us. That is beautiful. From this distance, it doesn't look all that different to Orion, but the landscape seems deeper, richer. And then there are the rings that surround the planet. As we approach, I get a clearer look at them, picking out the individual rocks and debris that encircle Tilaari. They almost look like a shield, some kind of perfect protection to ward off would-be intruders. For all this time, I didn't think I'd be so happy to see home. That voice distracts me, and I turn to find Rihanna standing nearby, her piercing yellow eyes drinking in the sight of the home planet. Hey, Rihanna, are you excited to be going back? It's very complicated. When I left, it wasn't on the best terms. I don't expect that this will be very pleasant for me. I understand. I was often at odds with my family, too. It would make things awkward, to say the least. Rihanna slapped her hand to her mouth abruptly, her eyes widening and shining with guilt. I'm so sorry, Tony. I have no right to complain about these things to you, not when you've lost so much. It's fine. Your concerns are no less valid. I can imagine how hard this must be for you. Thank you for understanding, Tony. I mean, yeah, Tony's lost her family entirely, but Rihanna still has the right to be worried and concerned about how this will go. Lisa called. She says the land somewhere called the Isla Spire. Stomp of Damon's boots interrupts us as he enters the bridge and puts himself between us. Wherever that is. The Isla Spire is the main hub on the planet. Our friends should all be there, as well as... She trails off, a strange look coming over her. Rihanna, will you show us where to go? Rihanna nods quietly and takes a co-pilot seat, while Calderon and Damon strap themselves into seats at the back with the rest of us. We sit back and admire the view as Ayame guides us towards Tilaari. It's difficult not to be intrigued by the planet when so few outside the Tilaari species have visited it. I wonder if, no, I was going to say, I wonder if you're Tilaari, if you've ever been there. But I don't think you've been on Volus at all until you end up on Andromeda Six. Though I'm nervous to find out what awaits us, there's something else that passes along my skin at the prospect, a kind of anticipation. Watch out for the rings. I'm not blind, and they're like impossible to hit. At least when you're as good as I am. Yeah, well, whatever. I can't see from back here. So shut up and enjoy the ride. Stop backseat driving. Ayame whoops out loud as she launches the ship forward, sending us rocketing towards the planet. As we approach, the landscape becomes clearer, blobs of blue and green shifting into lakes, waterfalls, and sprawling fields. Down there, to the east, that's the Isla Spire. As we descend, Rihanna points to an enormous silver tower, so tall the top of it disappears into the clouds. Half of the crew gasp at the sight, myself the loudest. It's huge! Yes, it houses the equivalent of a large city, hospitals, schools, homes, anything you could possibly need. This particular spire is also the home of the Council of Eons. I recall overhearing that the leader of the council is Rihanna's father, but I can't quite remember his name. Before he came into the role, it belonged to Anya Albright, Queen Jean's mother. She died a little over a year ago, but from what I heard, that wasn't common knowledge. And I know that Rihanna and her father don't get along, but there's a small part of me that's excited to meet him. I think that's a typo there. We're here. Everyone prepare yourselves for landing. Ayame guides the ship towards the spire with no issues and sets us down smoothly on the landing pad. After landing, we unbuckle ourselves to get ready to leave the ship, excitement buzzing through the crew as we speculate what we'll find here. Oh, wow. That's beautiful. I love the blend of organic and non-organic. That's cool. We exit onto the landing pad to be greeted by a host of Tilaari who approach us warmly, welcoming us to their planet. I watch them in awe, noting how gracefully they hold themselves, how beautiful and fine their clothing is. Calderon takes the lead as we follow them, with Naomi and Damon close behind. Riona hangs back, and it's only now that I notice more than a few of our Tilarian exports of her subtle but curious looks. When we reach the large doors of the building, we find a man waiting for us with pale silver hair and deep blue skin. Is this Riona's father? Something about him that seems instantly familiar to me, and I know at once who this man must be. Yep, it's her father. Welcome to Tilaari. My name is Eldred Mahayden. Squinted Eldred, picking up the similarities between him and his daughter. There's no denying it. He's Riona's father. Wow. I'm glad to see you've made it here safely. We were worried the Chimera would try to stop you on Orion. They certainly tried their best, but we managed to break away and get here in one piece. Eldred nods in understanding. I'm exterior, showing no hint of any underlying emotion. So what's all this about? Why did you summon us here? So he stands perfectly still. Eldred's eyes start between the crew, stopping only when they land on Riona. It would be easier to show you. Footsteps echo from behind Eldred, and a figure appears at his side, when I can hardly believe I'm seeing. I step forward, my eyes wide and my hands trembling at my sides. This can't be real. I'm asleep. I must be. I'm back on the ship with my bed, and this is a dream. Because nothing else can explain what I'm seeing, not when she's supposed to be. Yes! 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 Hello, little one. I've been waiting for you. Nerissa! I thought I had come to terms with my sister's death, but seeing her now in front of me, very much alive, has me crumbling into dust. I meet her outstretched arms with my own, failing to hold back the torrent of emotions that are building within me. How? Try to speak, but the words are all a jumble in my head, a barrage of questions fighting to break through. How long have you been here? Since the coup. We escaped and have been here ever since. Oh, yes. I'm crying. I'm going to die. I'm crying. It's alright, Tony. Just breathe. I'm here. We have time. She pulls back to me, holding me at arm's length as she looks me over and smiles. You look incredible. So strong. I see now that I didn't have to worry about you. I sniffle a little and smile back at her, still struggling against my complete loss for words. Rissa, I thought you were dead. I almost was. The voice turns cold, and suddenly she's not looking at me at all. I wonder who she could be looking at. Beck steps forward, his emerald eyes wide and his face pale, staring at the vision of my sister, who I half expect he still prefers to be a ghost. I give him space as he drops to his knees at her feet, his head bowed and his tears splattering the toes of her boots. I thought I killed you. I thought you betrayed us. I did. You tried to kill me. Yes. Stand up, Sarah. She commands him, and her voice is so full of authority no one would dare defy her. Yes, she will be a fantastic queen. With a hand on his knee, he pushes himself to his feet, staring down at her with a look so broken it almost cleaves my heart in two. I told you I could have helped you. You should have let me. I wish I did, believe me. I thought I could fix my stupid mistake on my own, and look where it got me. She looks torn between wanting to hug him or crack his skull in half. I don't blame her. Finally, her hands drop to her sides, and she lets out a heavy sigh. It wasn't you. It wasn't your fault. Beck stares at her, as though he can hardly believe the words she's speaking to him. How can you forgive me? The same way I have to forgive myself. I've made mistakes. I was hasty. I put my trust in the wrong people, and my family suffered the consequences. You weren't the only one Zovak planted in our home. She shakes her head in disappointment. At herself or at something else entirely, I'm not so sure. It's lucky my alliance with Tilaari stood strong, or I wouldn't be standing in front of you today. I have to Jean to thank for that. The stellar queen? She nods, but I'm still not quite sure what she means by that. How did you survive the night? The whole world believes you died on Golden. My friend, KYL3. He wasn't there when the massacre began, but he was the one who got me out. The world believes I died because that's the lie that Zovak's been weaving. I was wounded on the brink of death. Kay brought me here, and the Tilaari saved me. The VTB? I should have known. Where is Kay? Is he here? Marisa smiles fondly and gives a short nod of her head. He's training some of the soldiers down on the ground. He'll be back soon. He's been waiting for you, too. You knew I'd be here? After Eldred contacted Elisa and Zane, they told us what happened on Cursa. By the time we found out, you were already on Orion. We did everything we could to ensure you made it back here. I knew you were out there somewhere. I could feel it. Hang on, you mentioned soldiers. What soldiers? We have much to talk about. Eldred clears his throat softly before he steps forward. I'd almost forgotten he was still here. I'll leave you in Narissa's hands, but we'll talk again soon. There are also many things we must discuss. I don't miss the way his eyes linger on Rihanna before he turns and leads the group of Tilaari away. I'm a little surprised that he hasn't said a word to her, but if he's anything like his daughter, I expect he's not a fan of airing his problems in front of others. Yeah, definitely not. I'm smiling. I've been smiling the whole time. I'm delighted. This was a twist I was not expecting. Come with me. I'll show you what we've been working on. I walk beside Narissa as she leaves the group, still reeling from the fact that she's here. She's alive. I feel her eyes on me, and when I look at her, she smiles, the sight of it lighting up the entire world. There are a million things I want to ask her, a million questions that are rolling around my mind. My heart has barely stopped banging like a drum since the moment I heard her voice again. We follow Narissa as she leads us into a large elevator made of glass and reaches out to press a button. A number flashes above the door, illuminated by white light. 174. We're on the 174th floor? The elevator, well, if it's a spider and it was flown up but the path is hidden in the clouds, there would be a lot of floors. 133, 96, 58, 34. Well, they missed a 42 joke. I start to slow, and I feel my stomach lurch. I begin to catch up with the rest of my body as we come to a stop on the first floor, and the doors open. So, when I was little, I didn't like elevators. And I finally figured out why. I didn't like the way it made my stomach feel all swoopy. And, sometimes I can still feel myself moving when I get off the elevator. I follow behind Narissa as she exits the elevator onto a metal platform, looking around in awe at the sheer size of the space we've walked into. This used to be an aircraft hangar. As you can see, we've repurposed it for other needs. As she speaks, I step up to the railing, scanning the space in front of it. The first thing that catches my eye are the tents. Some of them are enormous, capable of housing 100 people. Others are smaller, with workbenches and crates scattered near the entrances. And then there are the people. Hundreds of them coming and going between tents and stations, chatting in groups, keeping busy at various workstations. This is amazing. All this time you've been stashed away here working like a busy little bee, huh? That's right. Pretty impressive, Queenie. No wonder Alyssa left Cursa for this. You're waging a war on Zovak. We asked her here. Alyssa and Zane have been invaluable to us. Oppo, too. Oppo? They're here, right? Can you see them? Of course, they're out there somewhere, and you're welcome to go and find them. I watch as Aya races over to a set of metal stairs, the rest of the crew hard on her heels, as they descend to the ground floor of the hangar. Losing my voice here. Jeez. Commander Lynch? Marissa stops Calderon before he can follow after them. He turns towards her with a sheepish look. It's Captain now, as exiled in case you weren't aware. Your Majesty? Please, call me Narissa. I'm not a queen here. I'm not even a princess. I just want to thank you, Captain. for taking care of my siblings. I lean against the railing and watch the two of them from the corner of my eye, trying to look as though I'm not eavesdropping. Ha! I can't claim I did that good a job of it. Marissa smiles at him kindly, gesturing in my direction. You got them here in one piece, didn't you? Calderon opens his mouth, but says nothing before closing it again. I think it might be the first time I've seen the man speechless. He carries on ahead of us, heading to the stairs and descending to the ground floor before we follow, where I finally get the chance to see the action up close. I just spot Bash and June at one of the weapon stalls immediately. Inspecting a table of guns that the proprietor seems to be all too happy to show off to them. June, check this one out. I'm looking. I and Damon have joined in on a conversation with a group of soldiers, casually chatting with them about the places they've arrived there from. There they are. There's Bash and June. I escaped Orion before they closed the borders. No one is getting on or off the planet, not legally anyway. Got here a week ago from Cursa. As soon as I heard they were fighting Zovak, I was on the next ship heading this way. Heading back with Narissa. I'm a little afraid that if I leave her now, it'll all turn out to be some kind of mirage. I'll never see her again. I mean, I don't blame them. Calderon, Bex, and Rihanna are also coming back, but for different reasons. Bex seems stunned, as though he can hardly believe what he's seeing, and Cal looks impressed. In fact, I think it's the first time I've ever seen him look like that. But my attention is drawn to Rihanna. She's a step behind the other two, almost hidden from sight behind Calderon's large frame. I can't quite get a grasp on her expression, but the one thing I can see is that she seems overwhelmed by the whole situation. I hope I'll get a chance to speak with her later to find out if she's doing okay. Right now, there's another question at the forefront of my mind. I turn back to Narissa, finding her smiling as she looks out over the camp, still very much a queen in every other way that counts. Narissa, who are all these people? There are people, the ones who won't stand for just Zovak and his reign of terror, the ones who will fight with us. I look at my sister, and I know she senses my confusion by the way she lays a hand on my shoulder. Her smile is bright as I've ever seen it. We're going to take back our home, Tony, together. Oh my gosh! Ah! Okay, so that was fantastic. So yeah, you got my first reaction to all of this shit. And I am delighted. I can't wait to play through this again with the other love interests, but you don't need to be there for that. Yeah, thank you all for joining us. Joining me. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching this. And please like, subscribe, all that jazz if you really want to see more. If you haven't seen the rest of this, there is a playlist that this will be added to of my rest of my playthrough for Andromeda 6. So I have no idea when the next chapter is coming out, but I can't wait. I'm probably going to be happy for the rest of the day, just for that access. Because it's not fine, but the one sibling that you cared about was gone too. I can't think of anything else to say. I'm just okay. So yeah, that's it. I will be back. I will be This does not mean that I'm not live streaming on Wednesday. I will still live stream on Wednesday. When I heard that they were releasing the new chapter, I was like, okay, I'm going to do an extra stream just because. And here we are. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. Again, I will be including a link to the game itself in the description on YouTube. The base game is free, but you can donate if you get it on it. There are a couple DLC that you do have to pay for if you want them. That's how they support themselves aside from Patreon. So, yeah, thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.